Greetings, it's Stevie P here, gonna do a guide on how to take on Ramuh once you've got Sonon in your party. So some people wait till they have Sonon before taking him on. This guide will show you how to do it so that regularly, following this method, you will not take any damage at all. Took a long time for me to figure it out, so I hope it can be of benefit to you. TLDR, if you just want to see an example of a fight where I don't take any damage, I'll put the timestamp in the description. This is really useful. It's the first most challenging fight you come across where you have to really understand a lot of the game's dynamics and mechanics. So I do recommend watching the guide. The guide will show you the method of how to take him down, taking advantage of those particular mechanics. But there are a number of different moves that he could do based on RNG. So I'm going to do a section on the different moves that he'll get a chance to do, bearing in mind that with this strategy, he won't even get to do all of his different moves. So with that, I'm going to get on now to show you the actual setup in terms of materia. In terms of the actual setup, I'll be honest, it's extremely simple. The important stuff is the materia. The equipment doesn't even matter so much. Once you know the mechanics, you can take advantage of this guy so badly that your equipment doesn't even matter. So healing doesn't matter. First strike, however, is important. You're going to want to have first strike. It doesn't matter if it's just level 1. Now, you should by this point have first strike, 2 of them. So you should have one for Sonon and one for Yuffie. So I would recommend that. Probably that's the most important thing. It is useful, though, to have Elemental with Wind on Sonon on his attack. You get the Elemental from completing the Fort Condor side quest. I don't think this is too important either, but it's useful to have. I also just really like having parry on Yuffie. So I'd say those are the main things, really. Parry, first strike on both of them, Elemental with Wind. If you do have, I've not even got it here, I think, but if you do have, you can potentially use Steadfast Block to increase ATB, but I'm not even using that. It's not terribly important. In terms of equipment, like I say, it's not critical, but generally I've got Yuffie focusing on magic, and I've got Sonon focusing on attack. I will say that it is useful in your battle settings to make sure you've got Brumal Form equipped to one of Yuffie's shortcuts, because that will be really useful. So that's really it. Very low maintenance in terms of the setup. So yeah, I'll get on now and show you how to do the actual strat that will regularly get you away with not having to take any damage at all. Right, so to start with, first things first, I always want to look at how much ATB they've got. They don't quite have 1 ATB, so I'll do normal 1, 2, and 3 attacks with Yuffie, just to build up the ATB, and I'll get Fighting Spirit going against Ramuh straight away. Fighting Spirit is better overall to start with, because he does more damage over time. So I do recommend Fighting Spirit. Then Ramuh does Levin arrows, which you need to dodge. And all of this is completely scripted. It always goes this way in every single fight. So now that that's happened, we're going to look at that pillar over there. That's really important. You want to memorize that. I also memorized this block with the sort of zigzag, because we're going to sort of be moving between these two areas. What I'll do now, Sonon is in a spot of bother surrounded by all these sparks on the floor. So I'm going to start running up to the pillar, synergize, then unsynergize. You see how I did that? So Yuffie and Sonon are synergized, finish synergizing. Now the reason for that is to simply get him out from in the middle of all of the sparks, but also not too close, because what happens is if he's too close, he gets hit when Ramuh does this, Luminous Falchion, which is 1 to 3 attacks, which he does with his staff against Yuffie. So we're going to dodge those using Brumal Form, and we're going to go in that direction. If you press the directional arrows whilst doing Brumal Form, she dodges in the direction that you're doing. She moves in that direction, basically. So I'm going to do that now. Dodge, and then dodge, and he is doing 3 attacks. Dodge. So that's 3 dodges. And then now immediately throw the shuriken, and straight away you want to do Windstorm. So all of this is completely scripted. This is what happens. By the way, Windstorm always goes off wherever the shuriken is. So that's important to remember. And he's now doing Thunderous Orbs against Sonon. And you've got some time to build up ATB by just throwing and retrieving the Shuriken like I did just then. So if he's targeting Sonon with Thunderous Orbs, you've got a little bit of time. It's very risky, and you need to not be in the way as well. But you can just throw and retrieve the Shuriken, and that will build up ATB for Yuffie, which is fantastic. Now he's doing Lightning Strike. You can tell he's targeting Yuffie, firstly, because Sonon is not blocking, and secondly, because he's facing Yuffie. So the way to handle this is to simply run around, nice and easy. Now he'll usually disappear and then reappear around where Yuffie is. Charged Current is a move of his that's quite annoying. It basically puts an AoE in the way, and you want to just teleport Sonon to you by synergizing so that he doesn't get damaged. Our goal is to get Ramuh's health below 2/3, so we're pretty close to that right now. I'm just going to unsynergize, and meanwhile, don't forget, we don't want to stray too far from this pillar over here. So we're within the kind of area that we want to be in at the moment, and at this stage I'm just going to let Sonon do a little bit of attacking. Now, once again, he's doing Lightning Strike against Yuffie. This is a good opportunity to get Sonon to do Swirling Storm in that gap. So, and then run around with Yuffie, nice and easy. Now, the reason why I did not throw my Shuriken is because you want the Shuriken to be in your hand for this phase. Now that his health is below 2/3, he's going to teleport to the middle, and you want 3 things to be the case. Number 1, you want the Shuriken in your hand. Number 2, you want to synergize to get Sonon over here. You don't want Sonon close to Ramuh right now. Number 3, you want to be up against this pillar. So that's what you want to have happen for this second phase of the fight. Then throw the Shuriken at Ramuh, and he's going to do this move, Summon Sparks. That's going to summon these sparks. And the reason why you wanted to be in this position is because you wanted a spark to be in between you and Ramuh. And that's that spark there, Spark A. So what you want to do is do a Windstorm against Ramuh. Not right now. You want to do it just as he's passing the orb or getting close to Spark A, the orb. So that's a little bit tricky. And you also need to make sure that you're not synergized when you do it. Because if you're synergized, you'll do a synergized Windstorm, which will just happen right here. And that's not going to damage anything or anyone. So you want to unsynergize and then do Windstorm against Ramuh. Just as he's passing the orb, that will damage the orb enough that the orb will explode. And that pressurizes Ramuh, at which point we can stagger him. So that's the goal. And that's also why we wanted Sonon to be here, because if Sonon was now running towards the middle, Ramuh might start attacking Sonon and not go anywhere near the orb, which would ruin the plan. So that's why Sonon is here. Okay, so we're just going to wait. He starts approaching. I do Windstorm. As you can see, you saw 4 different numbers there. That's all the damage being done against both Ramuh and Spark A, which has now disappeared, meaning that it's going to explode, and it was close enough to Ramuh that it's pressurized him. Nice little tip now, synergize and spam attack, and they start doing this crazy up-down thing which does massive pressure, and immediately he's staggered, and it's the end of the fight. Now I'm going to do synergized Art of War, and that will put Ramuh permanently to bed. Thank you very much. And pretty much that is how you can do this fight. In this particular fight, it wasn't a completely perfect run because he decided to do the Thunderous Orbs against Sonon, and Sonon got damaged. A lot of the time he won't target Sonon at all, and then you can basically get away completely scot-free, not getting damaged at all. So that's the guide. What I'll do now, there are a number of moves that you just didn't get a chance to do. So I'm just going to showcase those moves and how to deal with them. Some of it is really important because it can spoil everything if you don't know exactly how to deal with it. So I'll get on and show you those other moves that he does. So I've got a chance to show you Voltaic Lance. This is one of the moves that he can do which can completely ruin this plan. So it throws a lance on the floor, which is a lot like these Levin arrows, which will stun you if you run into it, only the area is much larger. So first of all, he is targeting Yuffie in this instance. You want that lance not to land anywhere between the pillar and the middle, otherwise that will ruin the end of the plan. So really, all you need to make sure of is that you dodge it somewhere that's not going to be in the middle of that path. Meanwhile, if you can multitask and if Sonon has enough ATB and is close enough, you can also get Sonon to do a swirling storm against Ramuh. So that's basically the idea. I don't think we're going to have quite enough time to get Sonon to do anything because he didn't have the ATB, but that's how you deal with Voltaic Lance when Yuffie is being targeted. Right, so what if he starts doing Voltaic Lance, but he's throwing it at Sonon instead of Yuffie, and Sonon, like in this example, is standing right in that path that we need to be clear? Well, then the only way to deal with it is to use Synergy, to teleport him. So you need to teleport him to Yuffie to get him away so that the Lance is going to go towards, well, someplace other than the path. So that's what we're going to do here. Just dump in this direction. And that's basically how you do it. So it is a little bit tricky because often the Lance will land and then the AI won't have time to dodge out of the way with Sonon, which is why I synergize again just to get him as close as possible to Yuffie after the Lance is launched. So that's how you deal with Voltaic Lance when Sonon is being targeted. One of the moves that he'll do is called Thunderous Orbs. You want to check who he's targeting, and you can tell it's actually hard because he twists his body around. So you might at first think he's targeting someone else, but you have to look at whether Sonon is blocking. So in this case, he's targeting Yuffie, and it's a simple case of dodging right and left. So right, then left, then right, and that will help you. Well, it's that simple. And in the meantime, you know, Sonon was a far way off, so he had to run up to him. But if you can, get Sonon to also do a swirling storm against him. And that's Thunderous Orbs when Yuffie's being targeted. And that covers it. The only thing we didn't see was what if he targets Sonon with Lightning Strike, but you do the same thing as if he was targeting Sonon with Thunderous Orbs, which happened in the main guide. So I haven't done anything separate for that, but that should show you everything that he can possibly do and how to deal with it. Hope you found this helpful. Thank you for your time. I'll now just show you the perfect run through that I had as one of many examples, which hopefully you'll get to enjoy yourself.